with that, I'm gonna welcome William and our panelists to our VC panel, where they will be sharing some insights about what's happening right now from the VC perspective. So please, William, Simon, Chibo, please come on stage and take your shares.
All right, so hopefully your mics are working. Please introduce yourself, Simon.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Simon. I'm the partner of Eminence Ventures. Eminence Ventures is focused on early stage enterprise cloud investment. We started, we only invest in enterprise cloud, and especially I look into vertical SaaS and the vertical marketplace. And besides that, other partners were looking to like horizontal SaaS, AI, and IT infrastructure. We want to find some exceptional entrepreneurs and partner with them to build some iconic companies. So if you want to talk with me, please let me know. Thank you.
Chibo, you just escaped from quarantine?
Yeah. So hi everyone, my name is Chibo. I'm a partner at Gobi Partners. I'm usually based in Hong Kong, actually, even though I'm Shanghainese. So I just kind of came back for some personal reasons, and I had to go through the 14-day quarantine, which, let me tell you, was super painful. Hope none of you have to go through that if you don't have to. But Gobi Partners, we're primarily based here in China, offices in Shanghai, Beijing, manage multiple US dollar RMB funds. In Hong Kong, we also manage the Alibaba Entrepreneurs Fund, which is a US dollar fund that is focused specifically on the Hong Kong ecosystem, and we're also building out our presence in the Greater Bay Area. Gobi outside of China, we also have offices and funds in the rest of Southeast Asia. We also extended our presence out into the Middle East and North Africa. So we are kind of regional, global, and all focused on the early stage.
Great. So we follow a fun format here. So it's been about 6 months since we gathered online for batch 17 demo day. So 6 months later, it's been a really fun-filled, exciting, somewhat tiring, tough a period. And a lot has changed. So kicking off with Simon, so what changes have you seen? What are the real trends that you're following now? I mean, usually it's like, not that big a difference. The last 6 months have been really painful for a lot of people. But on the other hand, I've never seen growth this strong, this big. I mean, we had to recap one of our companies, but the other 140 companies in Oscar in my portfolio are doing pretty well. So not a lot of sleep. But Simon, if you could just give a couple thoughts on what you've been seeing over the last 6 months, what are you looking at for the next 6 to 12 months?
Okay, we focus on investing in enterprise cloud. So we think that enterprise cloud was started in 2018. At the third quarter of 2018, Tencent suddenly announced that they want to start to focus on 2B sector, right? And during the whole 2019, more and more entrepreneurs and more investors want to go into this SaaS or cloud battlefield. And this year, despite of the pandemic, we still can see more and more entrepreneurs want to talk with us. They want to start new companies to enable their clients to do business online to avoid the difficulties due to pandemic. Of course, some startups, they faced some extreme difficulties. If they serve the clients, their business are offline, such as restaurants, hotel, a lot of things. But if your company want to help your clients to build their business online, I think a pandemic is an accelerator, right? For example, we invested in a SaaS company called eSign. That's an e-signature company. Before the pandemic, their growth is good, but not that good, right? But when the COVID pandemic, every company wants their employees to sign a promise letter before they come back to their office, right? So most of them choose the e-signature. So the pandemic helped this company to do some client education, and more potential clients want to using this service. Another example, we invested in a company called Circles Technologies. This company is a SaaS for some house companies to sell their new houses. They usually to sell new houses in person, but in pandemic, they cannot meet with their potential customers. So they have to using Circles technology to build some relationship with their potential clients and help them to view the new houses online, remotely. Yeah. So we think that pandemic is an accelerator of SaaS company, and fortunately, China is back up very quickly. And now, the whole half year of this company, of this year, we didn't invest very much. But on the second half of this year, we all accelerated. We can see more and more entrepreneurs. They are very, very strong. They have deep insights about the industry, and they have some great experience. Because if you don't have a deep insight and you don't have industry resources, you are not will start a new company, right? So we think that in the next 3 to 5 years, the SaaS company and the other cloud company will have a great opportunity here in China.
Chibo, so we're in Shanghai. You're Shanghainese. People in Shanghai think they're the center of the universe. But now you're doing Hong Kong, Greater Bay. So whether or not, what do you think is a big trend coming out of the last 6 months of the last tough year? What are you looking at for the next 6 to 12 months in terms of opportunities?
Yeah, no. First of all, I agree very much with what Simon's been saying, and it's great to hear that eSign is doing so well, because obviously that's a Gobi portfolio company as well. I think, look, I sit usually, I spent the last 6 to 8 months in Hong Kong, right? Obviously the COVID story in Hong Kong has been much different from that here in the mainland. I think we're actually on wave 4 at this point. And the restaurants were all shut down again. No more dinner after 6. So I think the rest of the world has really had much bigger issue and much more difficulty in containing the pandemic. Luckily for us, I think most of our portfolio have been relatively all right going through this year. There were a few internal rounds that we had to support, and those were mainly in kind of the media space, offline retail experience type sectors. I think, I don't want to say too much about COVID, because obviously that's been, a theme that everyone has kind of, talked about a lot, just in all the different events and panels and conferences. I think one additional trend, or one major thing that, was worth talking about is the U.S.-China relations, right? And obviously, 2020 has been a year where that has really come to a head, and the next 4 years are actually, very much up in the air in terms of what direction it's going to go. In terms of the technology stacks that are going to be prevalent in the world over the next 10 years, I think that it's very clear that there will be differing stacks, right? There will be kind of a so-called U.S. Technology stack. There will be kind of a China-led technology stack. And obviously, over the historical reasons over the past, I mean, like the value chains in many technology sectors have been intermingled. There are different parts of the value chain that are more important in China. There are different parts that are more important in the U.S. As they kind of develop going forward, I mean, like both of these technology stacks will need to fill some holes, right? And so I think that presents a lot of opportunity for investors, especially at the early stage where we're thinking about, okay, well, look, I mean, if most of our chips, semiconductors, or whatever are made in the U.S. now, and that's where most of the expertise is, like how are we going to build that in China? Obviously, the government's put a lot of money behind it. There's a lot of policies promoting it, but is the talent really here? How much time is it going to take to rev that up? And how are we going to convince the rest of the world in terms of the Europes and Middle East, wherever that needs this technology, that the China alternative is a better one? And I think that's like a very interesting story, and one that obviously we've been putting some dollars behind.
Great. I mean, we're a U.S. fund, global investor, and we help companies from around the world for the last 10 years, to penetrate the China, coming to the China market, which has been quite difficult. So we're looking at now not just the sort of the China bubble, or travel bubbles. It's better than calling them blocks or Legos or something. So, but we have the China bubble. We also now have the Europe bubble with GDPR. We have the India bubble. And then the U.S. will figure out whether we have like a U.S. bubble with a lot of bubbles, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to cross over through those. So we've got our work cut out for us. So Simon, what's one thing that we're going to hear from our startups, and they're going to pitch a little bit later. But it'd be great to hear a recent deal that you did, or a deal that you will do shortly. You don't need to name the company if you haven't closed it yet. But what's something that really exciting to you? One company that you've done? You already mentioned a couple that were pre-pandemic. What are you guys looking at post-pandemic?
I can share two deals. The first one is also we have disclosed, that is Genio Technology. Genio Technology is a company focused on insurance sector. They provide a SaaS for insurance companies to help the company better manage and educate their in-house brokers. And most importantly, they provide a coaching network for their in-house brokers to perform better and better based on the data and the AI. So, before a pandemic, the China's insurance companies, they rely on their in-house brokers to sell their products, right? How can they make their in-house brokers perform better? They have to send some, bosses or some guy to travel around the country and to help the divisions to know their products better and sell better. But now, when they using Genio's technology, they can manage their broker and educate them in the digital way. So, and most interesting thing is in China, if you want to sell an insurance product, the first important thing is you have to build a great relationship with your potential customer, right? So when in the pandemic you cannot meet in person, how can you maintain a good relationship with your prospects? So Genio provide a very interesting value-added services. It's a subscription package for the broker. When the broker subscribe to this package, they can download some great resources, such as cutting-edge knowledge, newses, maybe some, the membership card of IT, a lot of things. So the broker can send this gifts to their prospects and maintain their interaction with their potential customers. So this company doing great well, and we think in the future they can expand from insurance industry maybe to banking industry. A lot of industries, they have their sales network and they want to reach and maintain their interaction with high value potential customers. And another deal, they are not disclosed, so I will not say the name, but the company is China's Airtable. You know, Airtable is a great company in United States, and everybody can use Airtable to manage their data, just like the experience like Excel. But actually, the services is Excel plus database, and we can share the information and do some collaboration. Because you know, during the pandemic, everybody experienced, everybody have a unique experience that they have to collaborate with their clients or with their colleagues remotely, right? It's very difficult for us to share information. How can we share information? We use WeChat. We type in WeChat. We upload the files through WeChat. They are not structured. It's very difficult for us to organize and to find, to labor. But using the Airtable-like services, we can do it very efficiently. So we think this company will do very, very good in China because, you know, in China, we are not very easy access to Airtable or Notion or such things due to, you know, the network or maybe the policy, right?
Simon, thanks a lot for sharing. Chibo.
Yeah, well, he shared too, so I think I should share too. I think, so one of the ones that I did recently, I think, is along the lines of that technology stack thing. And it's a semiconductor company at the seed stage that, you know, the founder was like a professor that came out of HKUST. He's basically like an expert in the semiconductor like ADC chip design space. And, you know, like right now, evidently, Texas Instruments and AMD are the only ones that are able to make chips of this quality and of the specifications. And, you know, like I guess Hong Kong is actually, you know, Hong Kong Science and Technology Park and HKUST is actually one of the best you know, semiconductor chip research centers in Asia. And so that's something that I think, you know, if the expertise is difficult to find in China, I mean, I think that actually Hong Kong could be a good alternative. And obviously, I mean, he's been able to build a team. We're very excited about the company. Obviously, they're going to be, you know, selling into China on connected devices, you know, smartphones. So hopefully, you know, they'll be able to come out for a Series A early next year. And then another one was a kind of voice recognition company, which is basically in the AI space, do natural language processing. Also a Hong Kong company, round was led by Horizon Ventures. Obviously, you know, they've made a few good investments. But it's, you know, it's, I guess it's like the Kudashing Fei iFly Tech of Southeast Asia. And they've actually also added the Arabic language to their database. So, you know, Arabic is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. I think it's going to do well as well. So just a couple that we've done recently. But yeah, I mean, this year has just in general been, you know, first half kind of putting out some fire, second half continuing to invest. In general, I feel like the you know, valuations haven't been you know, coming down that much, to be honest. But you know, fundraising has been more difficult for portfolio companies and companies that have not built that existing investor network. So you know, just a word, I guess, for the startups and entrepreneurs in here. I mean, definitely allocate more time than you think you need for your next round of financing, because I think, you know, this environment and going into winter especially, I mean, like no one knows what's going to happen.
So Simon, Chibo, thanks a lot for being part of our investor network here at SOSV, Chinaccelerator, and all of you. That comes, that's the end of our wonderful panel here. Thanks a lot for sharing. Really appreciate it. Now I'm going to kick it back to Oscar. So thanks.